Hi everyone. In today's video, I would like to take the topic of negotiation skills, and specifically when it's about professional life or in corporate setup. Let's say you are a part of a significant project and you are leading the project or the key resource. A lot of discussions are happening revolving around modification of policies or the process or aligning new resources. However, in these discussions and in these meetings, whosoever is involved in the call or in the discussion could be stakeholder, client, your manager, you, everybody has got their difference of opinions and nobody is agreeing on with each other, and there is no concrete outcome after every discussion or the meeting or the call. So sometimes it becomes the responsibility of the key resource or someone who's leading the project to bring everyone on the same page. And for that, that individual needs to have the negotiation so that there should be a concrete outcome, and the discussion should not look like that it is going just in no man's land. No, everybody, at least there is a midway, and everybody has to be somewhere the mutual consent is there and an agreement to a certain level. And that's why it is important to have negotiation skills for that matter to that individual and for every individual who is working in a professional life. And that is the reason that I would want you to know this particular concept which I am going to discuss in this video, which will require or which will help anyone in the professional setup when it comes to negotiation or handling difficult conversations and discussions. This discussion based model or this concept or this negotiation concept, you can say it is called ABCDE, where each letter from A till E would have a particular element attached to it, and each element would have its own gravity and value added to it, which will help anyone in negotiating and persuading the other parties who are involved in that discussion. So, to understand that how we can integrate this model ABCDE, let's consider a specific situation. Let's say your situation demands that you are the key resource of that project, and after working for about 3 to 4 weeks on this project with your team, you have come to the conclusion that you require more resources and more experts to get aligned to this project because that is the need of an hour. However, when you try discussing with other parties like stakeholders, managers, clients, they have a difference of opinion, they have their limited bandwidth, and they have their logical reasonings where they are not agreeing to what you are trying to convince, but no concrete outcome. But now you try to decide that let's have one more call. So this, I will help you out that how you will integrate this concept. Maybe that will somehow will help you and benefit you in negotiating with all the parties and bringing everyone on the same page towards the end of the call or the meeting. So let's try and understand how each letter would help you. Let's take this one by one. Let's try and understand what does A mean when you are trying to convince or when you are trying to negotiate. The first point when you're trying to discuss with them, you need to integrate letter A, where letter A stands for achievements. That means when you are beginning the conversation, in the beginning, you cannot just throw the truth bomb right there. And that is why it is important to set the tone when you are having the discussion right from the very first step. Try discussing the achievements. That means whatever achievements have been made so far, whatever the progress, maybe the 60%, 70% tasks have been completed, try discussing that. That means you're passing on that confidence to the other parties who are involved in that discussion that the project is specifically in the safe hands, and you are justifying at every level with your team. Efforts have been made. However, you have your own expertise in your mind, and that's why you are trying to convince them on certain parameters. So it is important to start your discussion on the achievement parameter and not any other negative aspects, right? Now, furthermore, once you have set the tone, second step is that you have to add letter B into your discussion, where B stands for element benefits. Here, when I say benefits, that means you need to talk about that what you are trying to convince them, that you require more resources, you require more manpower, how it can benefit the project, how it can benefit the stakeholder, maybe the person who is involved into that entire discussion, how it can benefit the client, how it can benefit benefit the entire process and how it can benefit the manager. So you have to come up with at individual level that how at each level it can bring a benefit to the project and how the quality is not required to be compromised at any point in time. So this is important. In this case, we are convincing them that we require more manpower, we require more experts in our project. So yes, it's important to discuss benefits in your entire discussion. That will give you an edge into your entire negotiation based discussions and meetings. The third where you can talk about is now is the time where you can add letter C, where C stands for challenges. That means it becomes your responsibility to let them know that whenever efforts have been made, however till now, what challenges you have encountered because you have limited resources with you, or maybe the project demands to be more proficient people now henceforth, and how with each step you require that. Howsoever, you have to discuss that what are the root cause analysis behind this and how you have come to this conclusion, what efforts have been made, and with that what challenges you have been encountering. And you may if the approval will not be done, if you whatever validation you are seeking from your manager on this particular case, if that would not be given to you, then how the project may get compromised in quality. The other example could be maybe you with the entire process you realize that there are certain policies which are required to be modified now, and how if the approval will not be given to you, then how it can affect or impact the entire project. And because you have encountered that particular challenge so far, so it's important to discuss the challenges one by one, that yeah, these are the challenges I have encountered, and there might be an anticipation, I think we might have to suffer this way. So yeah, you can try discussing that in your discussion, and this will help you in negotiating with the other parties, and somewhere that will trigger them that yes, what you are saying, there's a logic behind it. Now, and when the discussion is happening, a lot of probing is happening, a lot of questions, a lot of discussions, in that now is the time you can append letter D as an element in your discussion. Letter D stands for defining the output, where you have to tell each party that what you are trying to convince them on, how you are defining the output for them. Maybe once you try to convince them that you require resources, you require more SMEs to get aligned with the project, how the productivity gets enhanced. Maybe you can quantify to them like 50% chances are there, 60% chances are there, how it gets increased. So try to give figures and numbers and quantify each, define that output, because that is what they are seeking for, and that is how it will help you in your negotiation based discussion. There are higher chances to get convinced people when it comes to quantifying that how the productivity gets increased, in what percentage and in what numbers. Talk in numbers, talk in percentage. That will help them, and that will let them know that how much of in graph you are actually seeking an increase in productivity when you're convincing them. The other example, when you are trying to convince the modifying the policies, how you see that yes, there is a chance that this much percentage we will have a quality output. So you can always try tweaking according to the situation as and when the discussion is flowing and flourishing. And now is the time where you can actually add letter E, where E stands for effective timeline. That is what they are actually. They might be concerned and having the issues about that. Even if you require more resources, how much timeline? Does the timeline also get affected or not? Whatever the committed timeline to the client, does it have its own impact or not? Let them know, ensure them that if you would align more resources, how everything should be as per whatever was committed, the timelines, the final deliverables, everything is on point and on spot. That is what you need to give an assurance to them. And you need to talk about on timelines. You need to tell them that these are the phases, this much has been achieved as you have discussed, and these are the phases which are left, and with next 2 to 3 weeks we are going ahead with this progress level and this productivity level, and within this much time we are on set for our final deliverables. So talk revolving around epicenter should be somewhere timelines, and let them know that effective timeline is there and nothing needs to be compromised. With this, you can entirely convert your discussion based on ABCD model, starting from achievement, benefits, talking about challenges, defining the output, effective timeline, and that will give you an edge while you are trying to persuade or you are trying to convince and having the negotiation to have a win-win situation for all the parties, because that is your responsibility as a key resource, that there has to be a win-win situation for all the parties who are involved in that discussion. discussion. That is important, that is imperative, and that is actually recommended. So this was all about today's video, where I wanted you to know about this concept or approach or ABCD model, which can help you when you try to integrate this entire model in negotiation-based discussion. And please let us know if you try to practice and apply it in your work life. And in case you have any approach which you have been practicing, which you have been executing in your negotiation-based discussions, do let us know in the comment section. And in case you have any questions regarding negotiation skills, do let me know in the comment section. I'll try to respond as promptly as possible. So yeah, bye bye for now. Take care. All the best. Let's meet soon in the next video.